If you're an e-commerce store in 2021 and you do not have an email automation flow, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Hello everyone, welcome to Surge. Today we're going to talk about email automation for e-commerce. So Carlo, in 2021, we have been preaching conversion rate optimization, right? We know that emails will always convert higher than paid traffic, than even sometimes direct traffic. It's always going to be one of your highest converting channels. So when it comes to e-commerce, why is having automated email flows so important? And first explain to me what they are and maybe some of the most important ones that need to be implemented.
Right. Well, having automated email flows covers one of the most important aspects of online marketing, and that one that often gets overlooked, and that's the actual nurture. So somebody finds your website. That's great. That's, you're already halfway there. They need to actually make the purchase. And if you're like me, you're not making a purchase on the first click, especially if you're having a higher price point item. If you're like me, you're doing your research, you're comparing to different brands, or maybe you're just not ready to pull the trigger right at that moment. Mm-hmm. And it's that period of consideration that's where you're going to lose, 60, 70% of your customers. Yeah. And that's where email comes in. So having things like a welcome series, a abandoned cart email flows, even things like thank you email flows are going to help with the aspects of your sales prospect that get ignored. Your customer lifetime value, your average order value, things that beyond just that first direct touch point in that first sale.
Yeah, absolutely. So you brought up a great point, nurture, right? So the average e-commerce conversion rate is around 3%, right? What that means is that if you drive 100 people to your site, 97 people are leaving the site without buying from you. So what are you doing to nurture those 97 individuals to then purchase a product? So number one is, do you have a lead magnet in place, any type of incentive to first capture their email? If you do not have this in place, then again, you can't even get started with email automation, right? You're limited in terms of that email automation strategy. The only thing that you could really do is just abandon cart, right? For the most part, maybe browser abandonment, but even then you need that email first in your database. So step one is, how can you incentivize new visitors to your site to give you their email address? So what these emails are going to allow you to do is take that potential customer from the discovery phase to the consideration phase, all the way down to the actual purchase. And again, if you're not incentivizing these individuals to give you their information, you're missing out on tons of potential customers. So let's talk about some of the other flows that, from what we've seen after implementing these flows, opened our eyes to how much money we were in fact leaving on the table by not retargeting or nurturing these specific individuals through these email flows.
Hey, Joe, I have a question for you. So what are some flows that you've seen, some of the ones that aren't just like your standard welcome and things like that have really brought in a revenue and shown us that we're leaving money on the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So one flow is what we call customer win back. Right. So for example, with an email automation tool such as Klaviyo, which is, in my opinion, is the number one tool out there for e-commerce. What we have there is the ability to see from a specific user level, really from a customer level, what their purchase frequency is. Right. And from that, we can then see when their last purchase was and when that next purchase should occur. Now, if that purchase, in fact, does not occur, this will then automatically trigger an email that is going to be sent out to this individual, incentivizing them to come back and complete the purchase. So what we've seen is that there was tons of money being left on the table because we just didn't have this data. We didn't have this insight into, especially from a specific customer level, as to how often and how frequently an individual is actually purchasing from us and when we're at risk of potentially losing them, right? So it's a very powerful tool. It also helps you calculate your customer lifetime value from a specific customer level because it does integrate directly with your e-commerce store. So it's a very powerful tool. And I would say that is the number one flow that we've seen generate a lot of revenue that essentially we didn't know we were losing, right? So I would say that's number one. And then number two is the cross-sell. right? So again, because it's integrated directly with your site, we have the ability to identify what products an individual was purchasing, what category that product was in. As a business owner, you know what products are frequently purchased together. You know what products go hand in hand, essentially. So now this is your opportunity to automate this flow, right? And trigger this flow. So when someone purchases this particular product or from a particular category, they're now going to see an email offering products that supplement that product or complement that product. So again, that's another powerful flow that we've seen generates a lot of conversions that, again, if you're not actively going out to sell to them, you're missing, you're losing out on money. You're just waiting for these individuals to come and buy from you. That's great. That's essentially what you've been doing the entire time. But now this tool is going to give you the ability to actually go out and sell to your existing customers.
Right. And I think there's the fact that this is automated. In the past, this is always an idea, but it would be something that you have to do manually to build these individual campaigns. And I think just the fact that it's a one-time setup, if you invest that initial period setting up and you're good to go for.
Yeah. And the initial setup, will definitely start to generate additional revenue. 100%.
Right.
But what we've seen is that you actually need to be continuously monitoring these flows, right? What are the open rates from email 1, 2, 3, 4 within that flow? How can you optimize to increase not only the open rates or the click-through rates, but also the conversion rates? And how far can you take that flow? So for example, if right now I'm sending out 2 abandoned cart emails, right? One that's being sent out 4 hours after that person abandons the cart, then another one being sent out 20 hours after that. If the first email is now, let's say, generating $15,000 in lost revenue, and email 2 is generating $8,000 in lost revenue, I'm now going to try to implement a third and see if maybe I'm missing out on another $4,000. So essentially what we're doing is we're trying to squeeze out all the money we can possibly get by seeing how far we can take these email flows throughout the process. And of course, the beauty of it, you're not going to be spamming these individuals because at the end of the day, if they complete a purchase, they fall out of that funnel, right? So again, it's a very, very powerful tool. And right now at Optimum 7, I would say about 90% of our clients are actually using Klaviyo now. And again, we believe in the tool, which is why, we promote it. And we continue to promote it because our clients are seeing phenomenal results on it. So going back to the beginning, we know that conversion rates in 2021 are extremely high. We know that, and we've always known this, email generates really high conversion rates. That is why it is absolutely crucial in 2021 for your e-commerce store to have an email nurture and automated flow in place. So that way, not only can you generate more revenue, but you're also going to be increasing your conversion rates. So now you're doing something that isn't SEO related. That's in turn going to supplement and help out your SEO. And so that really goes back to everything that we've been saying is that everything is integrated. Everything works together. Each and every one of your strategies from a technology standpoint, the integrations that you're using, the tools that you're using, and your marketing efforts are all integrated in one. So reach out to us if you have any questions on email automation, and we'll talk to you guys next week.